The internet just witnessed one of the most brutal friendship destructions in influencer history, and what started as simple social media posts has turned into career-ending feuds, million-dollar lawsuits, and friendships imploding in real time. What you're about to hear will completely change how you view your favorite creators, because behind those perfectly curated Instagram stories lies a world of betrayal, manipulation, and revenge that's more twisted than any reality TV show. We're diving deep into the Tana Mongeau friend group explosion that has everyone picking sides, Lana Del Rey's shocking accusations against another artist that involve body shaming and personal attacks, and a Love Island star's desperate attempt to prove something that backfired so spectacularly it became a meme overnight. But what's really happening behind these public meltdowns is something much darker than anyone realizes.
The canceled podcast was supposed to be Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield's empire. Millions of downloads, sold-out tours, and a fan base that treated them like the ultimate friendship goals. But what fans didn't see coming was the slow-motion car crash that would destroy everything they built together. Brooke recently admitted something that sent shockwaves through their audience. The show had become so toxic that she couldn't handle the hate anymore. She revealed that the podcast was ending because the backlash had become too much for her to bear. But here's what's really twisted about this situation. The toxicity wasn't just coming from outside. The drama was eating them alive from within. The first crack appeared when people started noticing tension during their live shows. Fans who attended their tour dates began posting about uncomfortable moments between Brooke and other members of Tana's inner circle. What seemed like playful banter on camera was apparently much more serious behind the scenes. Then came the BB and Brooke situation that nobody saw coming. These two had been inseparable for years, posting together constantly, practically joined at the hip. But during their tour, everything changed. According to inside sources, they got into a massive argument that ended their friendship completely. And here's where it gets interesting. The moment Brooke and BB stopped being friends, Paige suddenly became BB's new best friend. The timing was so obvious that fans immediately started connecting the dots. Paige and BB went from occasional collaborators to posting together constantly, doing unboxing videos, and basically replacing the dynamic that Brooke used to have with BB. The internet exploded with theories about what this meant for the friend group. But the most shocking revelation came when someone pointed out that Paige and Brooke had always had underlying tension. Looking back at old podcast episodes, you could see the fake smiles, the passive-aggressive comments, and the way they would exchange glances when they thought the cameras weren't focused on them. What everyone dismissed as friendship drama was actually years of built-up resentment finally coming to the surface.
While Tana's friend group was imploding, another controversy was brewing that would divide the internet in half. Bella Thorne decided to propose to her fiancé, getting down on one knee and popping the question to someone who had already proposed to her a year earlier. What should have been a sweet moment between two people in love became a battleground for social media warriors. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Comments flooded in calling her desperate, saying she was encouraging men to be less masculine, and that she needed to stand up because she had no business doing what she did. The hate was so intense that it exposed something really dark about how society views relationships and gender roles.
But here's what made this situation even more twisted. Bella's response revealed just how much these public figures have to endure. She posted on her story showing how the comments were completely split down the middle. Half the internet was celebrating her for breaking gender norms, while the other half was tearing her apart for the exact same action. What's really disturbing is how this one post became a reflection of everyone's personal issues with relationships and power dynamics. People were projecting their own insecurities and beliefs onto a couple they didn't even know, turning a private moment into a public battlefield. The most shocking part was watching how quickly the internet turned a gesture of love into something controversial. This wasn't just about a proposal, it was about control, expectations, and the way social media gives everyone permission to judge other people's most intimate moments.
Just when you thought the drama couldn't get worse, the music world exploded with one of the most personal and vicious feuds in recent memory. Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain, two artists who seemed to respect each other, became locked in a battle that exposed the toxic underbelly of artistic rivalry. It all started with Instagram posts and what appeared to be subtle shade. Both artists had been linked to the same musician, Jack Donahue, and what began as coincidental similar photos turned into something much more sinister. Lana posted a photo outside Chicago's Cook County Jail, and shortly after, Ethel posted her own similar photo with the same guy.
But the situation escalated beyond anyone's expectations when Lana released a track snippet with lyrics directly calling out Ethel. She sang about Ethel hating her Instagram post and reenacting her Chicago pose, making the private drama public in the most brutal way possible. What happened next was shocking. Lana didn't just make music about the situation. She went to Instagram comments to expose what she claimed had been happening behind the scenes for years. She accused Ethel of creating disturbing side-by-side images, comparing her to unflattering creatures and cartoon characters, and making constant comments about her weight. The allegations were devastating. Lana claimed that Ethel had been body-shaming her for years, posting graphic comparisons and inserting herself into Lana's personal life in ways that crossed every boundary. The accusations painted a picture of systematic harassment disguised as artistic rivalry. Ethel's response was simple but powerful. She posted to her Instagram stories that Lana had blocked her, essentially confirming the feud while staying silent about the specific accusations. The fact that she didn't defend herself made people wonder what really happened behind the scenes. Even Nicki Minaj got pulled into the drama, tweeting about how the melody was so good that she found herself walking around all day thinking about someone named Ethel who she didn't even know. The situation had become so public that other artists couldn't ignore it. While musical feuds were dominating headlines, reality TV provided its own shocking moment of desperation. Andreina from Love Island found herself at the center of controversy when she decided to prove she hadn't gotten a BBL in the most bizarre way imaginable. The rumors about her body modifications had been circulating, and instead of ignoring them or addressing them normally, she made a decision that left everyone speechless. She posted a photo of herself as a baby sleeping on her stomach, with the caption claiming this proved she didn't have surgery. The reaction was immediate and universally negative. People were disturbed by the idea of looking at a baby photo and thinking about what kind of body that child would have as an adult. The logic didn't make sense, and the execution was so uncomfortable that it became a meme for all the wrong reasons. What made this situation even cringer was that fans started asking obvious questions. Why didn't she use a photo from her teenage years? Why choose the most inappropriate way to prove something that nobody really cared about anyway? The entire situation revealed a level of desperation for validation that was genuinely concerning.
This incident exposed something darker about social media culture, the way it makes people feel like they need to prove every aspect of their existence to strangers online. Andreina felt so pressured by random comments about her body that she posted a baby photo, which is one of the most bizarre responses to internet speculation ever documented. The influencer world was rocked by another scandal when Josh Richards decided to take legal action against Poppy, the company that made headlines for its billion-dollar sale and the influencers who cashed out big time. What seemed like a success story turned into a nightmare of broken promises and alleged fraud. Josh claimed he owned 538 shares in Poppy and had a deal where he would bring his famous friends like Bryce Hall, Blake Gray, and Griffin Johnson to promote their products. In exchange, Poppy was supposed to use Josh's name, likeness, and network to build their brand. When the company sold for billions and Josh didn't get his expected payout, things got ugly fast. The lawsuit alleges breach of contract, fraud, and negligent misrepresentation. Josh claims he was misled about the nature and terms of his deal with the company. He's seeking compensation for what he believes he was never properly paid for, and the numbers involved are staggering.
What makes this situation so shocking is how it reveals the dark side of influencer business deals. These creators promote products to millions of followers, put their reputations on the line, and bring their entire networks into business relationships. When companies fail to honor their agreements, it's not just about money. It's about betrayal of trust on a massive scale. The case exposes how many of these business partnerships are built on handshake deals and vague promises, rather than solid legal foundations. When billion-dollar sales happen and influencers get left out of the profits they were promised, it shows just how expendable these creators really are to the companies that use them.
Las Vegas provided the setting for one of the most embarrassing cases of mistaken identity in recent memory. A Justin Bieber impersonator managed to convince security, staff, and audience members that he was the real deal, performing on stage at a major venue before anyone realized what was happening. The situation was so convincing that people were taking selfies with this fake Justin Bieber, and even the DJ on stage believed he was performing alongside the actual pop star. The impersonator and his team had apparently planned an elaborate multi-step ruse to gain access to the venue and the stage. What's truly mind-blowing is how far this deception went before anyone caught on. Security systems failed, staff members were fooled, and audience members were completely convinced they were seeing a spontaneous Justin Bieber performance. The venue later had to release a statement explaining how they were duped and confirming that the impersonator had been banned from future entry. This incident reveals something disturbing about our celebrity-obsessed culture. People were so eager to believe they were witnessing something special that they didn't question whether it was real. The desire for an authentic celebrity experience made everyone involved susceptible to an elaborate fake. The situation also highlights how easy it can be to exploit people's expectations and desires for exclusive access to fame. One person with enough confidence and a decent resemblance could fool an entire venue full of people, showing just how desperately we want to believe in these magical celebrity moments.
Throughout all these controversies, Tana Mongeau found herself in an impossible position. Fans were analyzing every interaction, every social media post, and every friendship dynamic within her circle. When speculation about her relationships reached a fever pitch, she finally had to address the situation directly. Her response revealed the exhausting reality of being a public figure whose every friendship is scrutinized by millions of people. She explained that she only focuses on her relationships with the people closest to her, and that other people's personal drama doesn't define her connections with them.
But what was most telling was her admission that she doesn't have the capacity for drama in this phase of her life. This wasn't just about avoiding conflict, it was about protecting her mental health from the constant speculation and analysis that comes with being in the public eye. The situation became even more complex when the person who originally made a TikTok analyzing the friend group drama issued a public apology to Tana. They revealed that they made the video because they needed money for tuition and knew that drama content would get views and generate income.
This confession exposed the ugly reality of how public figures' personal lives become content for other people's financial gain. Someone who claimed to love and support Tana was willing to exploit her friendships for views and money, then felt terrible when the content actually affected the person they claimed to care about. The parasocial relationship aspect of this situation was particularly disturbing. The content creator admitted to having an intense emotional connection to Tana, despite never actually knowing her, while simultaneously creating content that could damage her real relationships and mental health.
What all these situations reveal is something much darker than simple internet drama. We're witnessing the complete breakdown of privacy, genuine relationships, and mental health in the age of constant connectivity and content creation. Every friendship becomes content. Every relationship becomes speculation material. Every personal choice becomes a public referendum where millions of strangers get to vote on whether you're making the right decisions with your own life. The Tana friend group drama shows how genuine relationships can't survive under constant public scrutiny. When every interaction is analyzed for hidden meaning and every change in dynamics becomes evidence of secret feuds, authentic connections become impossible to maintain.
Bella Thorne's proposal controversy demonstrates how social media has given everyone permission to judge the most intimate moments of other people's lives. A private gesture of love became a battleground for strangers' opinions about gender roles and relationship dynamics. The Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain situation reveals how artistic rivalry can turn into personal attacks that cross every line of decency. When creative differences become public accusations of harassment and body shaming, the music industry's competitive nature turns toxic. These incidents aren't just isolated dramas, they're symptoms of a culture that has completely lost the boundary between public and private life. When everything becomes content and every moment becomes an opportunity for judgment, the human cost is devastating. The most disturbing part is how this culture creates incentives for more drama. Content creators make money from discussing other people's personal lives. Audiences reward the most shocking revelations with views and engagement. The entire system is designed to turn private pain into public entertainment.
The influencer economy has created a generation of people whose entire livelihoods depend on sharing their lives with strangers. But what happens when that sharing becomes so invasive that it destroys the relationships and experiences that made these creators interesting in the first place? We're starting to see the answer. Podcasts end because the hosts can't handle the hate. Friendships dissolve under public pressure. Artists turn against each other in increasingly personal ways. The very thing that made these creators successful, their willingness to be open and authentic, becomes the weapon that destroys them.
The saddest part is watching people who built careers on genuine connection slowly lose the ability to maintain real relationships. When every friend could potentially become a business partner, competitor, or source of content, trust becomes impossible. What we're witnessing isn't just drama. It's the collapse of authentic human connection in the digital age. The internet promised to bring us closer together, but instead, it's created a world where every relationship is performed, every emotion is content, and every private moment becomes public property. The question isn't whether these creators will survive the drama, it's whether they'll survive with their humanity intact. And based on what we've seen this year, the answer is becoming more unclear every day. The next time you watch an influencer's story or follow along with creator drama, remember that behind every post is a real person trying to navigate relationships, careers, and personal growth, while millions of strangers watch and judge their every move. The entertainment value might be high, but the human cost is higher than any of us want to admit.